All right, the last video of our 3 videos for our financial statements is going to be our balance sheet. So go ahead and open up your Chapter 1 PowerPoint Part 2s, and we are going to be starting with, let's go with slide number 5 first really quickly, because I want to just keep pounding and reinforcing how important the Alice thing is to you guys. Now, keep in mind, assets, L for liabilities, S for stockholders' equity. At this point, you hopefully are retaining that stockholders' equity breaks into 2 parts, which is your contributed capital and retained earnings. Then you've got dividends, which would go on your retained earnings statement. R and the E, which stands for revenue and expenses. Your revenue and expenses, as a recap, goes on your income statement. Your dividends goes on your retained earnings statement. And last but not least, the one that we're going to be talking about now is your balance sheet, which gets your assets, your liabilities, and stockholders' equity. Now, keep in mind, the reason for the balance sheet is that it's going to have it's got a balance at the end of it. Okay, so at the end, when you finish your balance sheet, your assets should equal your liabilities and stockholders' equity added together. So just keep in mind, we go from the bottom up. Remember, the presentation, we start with the income statement and we move forward. And the reasoning for that, if you go back into your lectures, is the numbers from the income statement. The number at the end of the income statement gets brought into the statement of retained earnings statement. And then the last number in the retained earnings statement gets brought up to the balance sheet under your stockholders' equity section. So all three of these financial statements are intertwined. You can't do a balance sheet without doing the other ones first. So that's why I'm doing these lectures in the order in which you're going to prepare them. So now that we've looked at slide number 5, I want you to quickly just jump to slide number 10. And let's go over this balance sheet for this one. Now, the balance sheet, as you can see here on slide 10, it talks about it's a list of the assets, liabilities, and stockholders' equity. The key here is that it's a specific date. Now, what is meant by a specific date is it's not for a period of time. Like the income statement and the statement of retained earnings that we did are for a period of time, for the year ending, the quarter ending, the day, the week, those are for a period of time. The balance sheet is on a specific day. So if you move to slide 11, look at our example or exhibit number 3, which is the balance sheet. This is, again, take a look at your heading. You've got the company name, which has been the same throughout all 3 statements because we're working for Willow Company. Second line is your balance sheet. That's the statement that you're preparing. The third line is the one that is different. You can see here that this says on December 31st of 2013. It does not say for the year ending, for the quarter ending, for the month ending, for the week ending. It says just the date. Okay, that's very important for you to pay attention to that. It will be marking you wrong if you put in the wrong heading. Okay. On the left-hand side, you can see in bold the word assets. You're going to write the word assets, and then you're going to list them. Okay. Now, the way that we list them is in the order of liquidity, meaning how quickly something can get turned into cash. Okay. They're not listed in the order of how much each account has in it. Okay. If that was the case, then land would be second in line. Okay, we list them in what we call the order of liquidity, meaning how quickly we can convert that item to cash. Out of these 4 items that we have listed under assets, cash is already cash, so you're going to hear me say the expression, and you've probably heard it, cash is king. Okay, money talks, BS walks. All right, so hence the reason why cash is the first asset. You may not have a lot of cash, but it is still the first asset that's always listed on a balance sheet. Okay. Accounts receivable, supplies, then you go down the list. Okay. Accounts receivable are pretty easy because all you got to do is call somebody up and collect the money they owe you. Or you could do something else, which you could sell your accounts receivable, which we'll talk about at another time. As far as supplies are concerned, you can return them to the company you bought them from. You could sell them pretty quickly, like if you put up a sign 50% off. Usually people are willing to buy sale items. If you have Miss Smith, she can attest to that. She shops every clearance rack from here to New York City and New Jersey and Paramus and Binghamton and Albany and Oneonta, you name it. She knows where to find it. So that's that. Once you get down, after you've listed all your assets, you're going to get to the point down at the bottom on the left. You'll see the words total assets. Now, total assets is simply what it means. If you total something, so totaling your assets, if you just take your calculator out and you add up the 25, the 3,500, the 950, and the 20,000, you'll see that it comes up to 49,450. So as much as I know it's monotonous and stupid, but just go ahead and add that up in your calculator to verify that that's the number you're going to get. Okay, it's important that you understand that. As much as it's stupid and it's, it says right there, yeah, trust me, I know. Just for your own sake, I can guarantee you that from my time inside classes, when I did this and I went through it line by line and I did the additions and had people follow along, I still had people that asked me questions. How did you get this number? How did you get that number? Well, just follow along and do it. It doesn't take you that long. You guys can all text message with your phones, probably 50 words a minute, if not more. You can type on your keyboards faster than some people can type on a keyboard. So it's not going to kill you to do this. All right. So now let's move over to the right-hand side. Now, the right-hand side, we have our liabilities and our stockholder equity sections. Again, you will write the word liabilities. Okay, so that this way you have like a heading for your kind of like a paragraph heading. So you're going to write liabilities, and then below that, anything with the word payable. Keep in mind, you see the word payable, you should automatically say to yourself liability. The word payable should be totally and 100% completely associated with liabilities. Okay, just like receivable would be associated with your assets, payables, liabilities. Please get that understanding. If you owe somebody money, that is a payable. If somebody owes you money, that's a receivable. Okay, so it's very, very important that you understand the difference between them. Receivable is when somebody owes you money, and payable is when you owe somebody else money. So if you add up the two types of payables that we have listed here, we have accounts payable and we have what we call notes payable. I'm not concerned with you understanding what notes payable is at this point. Just understand that the word payable means it is a liability. That's the key. So if you go ahead and you add up your two liabilities, you see the fourth line says total liabilities in dark bold print. Well, when you see the word total, you should be saying to yourself, oh, I better add it up. So 10 and 15 gives us our $25K or $25,000 that you see listed there. Okay. Moving on to the next spot, down below there, you'll see stockholders' equity. Now, I have told you, and I'm going to continue to say these little tidbits of information throughout lectures, so hopefully you guys are catching on to these things. Under your stockholders' equity, it breaks up into two components, two parts: common stock or contributed capital, and then our retained earnings. So common stock has got to be given to you in the middle of a sentence or some way, shape, or form. It's got to be given to you. And retained earnings comes from your statement of retained earnings that you did prior to working on your balance sheet. Now you can see there's a little line there saying 19,450. I want you to just click back to slide number 9 as I'm speaking. And if you look at slide number 9, the bottom line on your statement of retained earnings says that the retained earnings for December 31st, 2013 was 19,450. So here's where I'm trying to explain to you that the numbers from prior statements have to be used to prepare the next statement in tow. So flip back to slide 11, which is your template for your balance sheet. So we brought the 19,450 over. Then you'll see the line that says total stockholders' equity. Adding 5,000 and 19,450 gives you a total of 24,450. Now, we said the balance sheet is all about the accounting equation, which is assets equals liabilities plus stockholders' equity. So you have to add your liabilities and your stockholders' equity together, which is the last box in line that you see there. So if you take $25,000 and add $24,450, you come out to $49,450, which, when you look to your left, does that match the total amount of assets that you have? And in this case, your assets do equal your liabilities and your stockholders' equity. So you are done with this statement. You're done with the three financial statements at this point. Some keys to keep in mind, okay, is classification, okay? If you were to put an expense account on your balance sheet, obviously it's not going to work. If you were to put the retained earnings statement, completely leave them off this statement, it's not going to work. So you really need to pay attention to your classifications. You really have to understand the types of accounts that we have in accounting. That's where your AUSDRE comes into play. A is assets, L is liabilities, S is stockholder equity, D is dividends, R is revenue, and E for expenses. It is imperative, and I use that word perilously. It's so important for you to understand the classification. If you misclassify something, you will get something wrong, okay? So the key here is get it right the first time around and do it properly, and you won't have the problems later on, okay? Now, this is the third lecture for the financial statements. What I want you guys to do, I am going to be setting up a homework assignment right now. As soon as I'm done with this homework assignment, I'm going to post it and email it to everybody, okay? Just like the first homework assignment, it's going to be very similar. I need you guys to get the classification stuff down properly. I am also going to set up a quiz tonight, and I'm going to expect you guys to have the quiz done by Tuesday of next week. Okay, so the quiz is going to be simply on classification and probably adding numbers together and seeing if you come out with the right set of numbers. I need you guys to get this down. Now, the one nice thing about having these lectures recorded and being posted online for you is that you're able to listen to them over and over and over again. Okay, if we were sitting in class on Tuesday, I'd be doing the three statements, and then on Thursday, I'd be doing the three statements again. Okay, so this week here, this weekend, you guys are going to get a boatload of homework to do, and that's to reinforce what we've done as far as seeing if you guys are listening to the slides and seeing if you guys are actually retaining the information. Okay, so please keep checking your email today and tomorrow for these uploads. So I'm going to sign off from this lecture at this point and get you guys some more information and some more work to you. So stay tuned.